Stop chasing and they will come. Today's conversation was inspired by some reflections I had upon reading Mind Power, The Secret of Mental Magic by Willam Walker Atkinson. Specifically, I was reading the Personal Magnetism chapter. And so I'd like to reflect upon my findings with you. He says in there that all have noticed that some individuals seem to have a winning way about them and are able to induce others to fall into their way of thinking and to do what they wish done, or so that could appear that way. He says the so-called magnetic person is able to sway audiences or individuals by their mystic power, or so that could appear that way. He says the secret lies not alone in what is said, or even how it is said, but rather in how great a degree personal magnetism was emanated by the speaker. That could appear as personal magnetism and emanations by the speaker, certainly. He said, many persons who have dealings with the public in the direction of selling goods, securing subscriptions, selling life insurance, etc., have acquired a degree of the art of using personal magnetism, often being unconscious. That's the key word. Often being unconscious of the power they are employing. There's only one power. That I am. As we acknowledge that we are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, that appears as what someone could point to and say, this individual has personal magnetism, a high degree of personal magnetism. And upon observation, that individual does not appear to seek for external approval, validation, or confirmation of being love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Having acknowledged that they are that, there is no need to seek. And so, what they say, what they don't say, what they do, what they don't do, arises naturally and automatically from that ideal state of consciousness. And to the degree that they embody that state, that shall be the degree that we witness personal magnetism. Now, what's interesting about that is I believe that if we experience someone embodying love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, we are also saying, I am that. So, we can say that someone who has a magnetic personality, true, authentic, personal magnetism, further affirms our true way of being, love, happiness, peace, bliss, and fulfillment. We experience that while we appear to be around them, but the source is still within. There's only one source, I am. Everything arises from, appears as, and is animated by that one source, I am. Now, he goes on to say this, although he says it in his style of saying it. He said, "Our dynamic individual places themselves in a receptive attitude only toward the great universal will. There's only one cause, I am. The true nature of self is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment." For further elaboration on this, I recommend watching the video that I released on Sunday. I'll link in the description to it. This realization, or these realizations, personally were a result of meditation, self-reflection, and personal experience. And having a number of conversations with others who also realized the true nature of self, it appears that they also confirm this in their own way, like Willam Walker Atkinson is doing right now. We'll further explore what I mean by that in a moment. So he says, in this way, they really become a most active center of power, which becomes manifest to all with whom they come in contact with. They may not realize just what they are doing and may know nothing of the truth herein stated. There's only one truth. Sat Chit Ananda, truth, consciousness, bliss. But still they feel that they are in touch with something that aids and assists them and which gives them strength and dynamic power. They may talk about this as luck, or their lucky star, or they may secretly believe themselves to be specially favored by Providence. And this belief takes form in action, as in visible effects. What the person says, what they don't say, what they do, what they don't do, thought transmission, telepathy, personal magnetism, aura. Some people can see these things. Other people can feel these things. Yet the core remains the same. The source of it all, although appearing differently to different people for life experience, does what he says here, results in manifesting that air of calm, power, and self-confidence, noticeable in such people in every instance. We can call this personal atmosphere, as he describes it. He says, "You will readily see from what has been said that the personal atmospheres of persons depend upon the character of their mental states and are the result of the mental currents emanating from them." So there's one cause, I am. Everything arises from the one cause. The one cause appears and appears to animate all that appears through the individual experience, in which then others appear to reflect their state. So when we experience someone who is magnetic, we say we are drawn to them. They're actually playing out attributes from our mental state. They're reflecting it to some degree or to a larger degree. If we acknowledge that I am appears as individuals playing out to reflect, then we don't see it as separate from ourselves, which then allows us to accept, if it appears I am that. And then we see that personal magnetism appears to multiply. We may say, being around them, we feel more elevated. We feel more of that. During the interaction, the focus is on that. Love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. During the interaction, during the conversation. We can call it then a magnetic conversation. If one commits to and embodies their ideal state of consciousness, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, a number of wonderful things happen. Number one, they have wonderful life experiences. Love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment based. Number two, others appear and perhaps say, your personality is very magnetic. I'm drawn to you. I'm genuinely interested because you speak very deeply. You speak to my heart. That's because the heart of reality is love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. They may say, you're not trying to convince me. You're not trying to tell me that my way is wrong. You have no shame or condemnation towards me. You see me for how I truly am. And so, he says here, every person has their own mentative aura or body of radiant mentative energy, or so that could appear that way. This world is all appearances from imagination. In other words, reality works the way you believe it does. And so, to experience personal magnetism, capture the feeling of being. A simple act, capture the feeling of being, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, without any need to look for visible signs. I am that now. Capture that feeling of it being true now. I've experienced this many times. I've walked into rooms where it appeared that others were disconnected from me. One could say I didn't appear magnetic, not as love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And so it appeared that way. Others would reflect that state. And I was aware of what I was thinking, how I was emotionally relating, my behaviors, my relationship, physically, mentally, emotionally, to the spiritual cause, related to an imagination. I am. In other words, what am I saying of that I am? And I changed that way of being. I acknowledged in that moment, captured the feeling, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. Even if to my interpretation in that particular moment, it did not appear that way. Because now is where all the power is. And having embodied that in the moment, sure enough, the experience changes. Others appear to change. They appear to change to reflect that state. Now, I've worked with, I don't know how many different organizations, sales organizations, and I've taught this many times, and it's not something new that I'm teaching them. They teach it to their staff, they teach it to their sales reps. Yet, the sales reps may forget. And by that I mean specifically in this regard. The one cause within is related to differently as they're going through the conversations with the prospects. If the prospect says something in which they interpret it as they are not worthy, shame or condemnation, and no pun intended, shame and condemnation for shaming and condemning. In that moment, we teach releasing that identification. Be still and know that I am. And right away, they return to their true way of being: love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And then they know what to say, what not to say, do or not do. And upon having conversations with their clients afterwards, and I'd say, can you describe them? Can you describe how you are experiencing this sales professional who you were dealing with? And sure enough, they would say things that would indicate things like what was discussed in the book, The Charisma Myth by Olivia Fox-Cabane: power, presence, and warmth. So in other words, they appear to be magnetic. One would describe them as magnetic. Wonderful harmony. Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And others describe this feeling of personal atmosphere, which he talks about here. He says, you will readily see from what is being said that the personal atmospheres of persons depend upon the character of their mental states and are the result of the mental currents emanating from them. That's the experience from the mental states. He says every person has their own mentative aura or body of radiant mentative energy which flows from them in all directions. These mentative atmospheres affect the people with whom one comes in contact. That is how that appears in experience. Yet the cause is a metaphysical cause. So again, thought transmission, telepathy, mentative energy, aura, all arise naturally from the state, including what they say, what they don't say, body language, etc. Authentic congruence all arise naturally from the state of consciousness. He says, you know people who seem to carry with them an atmosphere of feeling which affects a room full of people or even a building? This atmosphere may be positive or negative in its effect. That is, stimulating or depressing. And no shame and condemnation. Now is where all the power is. Embody your true way of being: love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And observe the wonderful feeling that others experience around you. I noticed this in my life by applying what we're discussing here. A lot more nowadays than ever before, people come up to me and say, I feel wonderful around you. What is being proposed here is that if you would like to have experiences of personal magnetism, be as you are. You are already that. Love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. If you find it to be helpful, turn it into autosuggestions to remind yourself that you are that. For example, you could say, I experience love wherever I am. Happiness is my true way of being. I experience it with others, with my clients, with my friends, with my family, as far as the senses perceive. Peace is experienced wherever I am. Others appear reflecting wonderful, harmonious, loving conversations. Wonderful relationships felt in complete congruence, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. I experience love wherever I am, around others, by myself, in my hobbies, in the various projects in my business. As he says, all of these things arise in the way which I have mentioned. all arise from the mental state. He says the charm of the fascinating person is accounted for in the same way. So we could say fascinating person, this person has personal magnetism. Acknowledge that they are reflecting that which you have accepted about yourself. Love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. There's only one cause, and it is within. I am. It can appear as wonderful relationships of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. So there's no need to seek for that as proof, validation, or confirmation. Acknowledge, I am that. He says, it is all a matter of the mentative currents inducing feeling in others. The power called fascination, which has been known in all times and countries, arises from the same cause. There's only one cause, I am. What does one imagine of that one cause? If one imagines them to be love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, so does it appear as personal magnetism. And the various effects that play out, that's all God's play to reveal what has been related to that one cause, I am. He says the mentative power emanating from each individual creates an appearance of a mental atmosphere around them, which appears to extend a considerable distance from their body. I love his choice of words. Appears to extend. Creates an appearance of mental atmosphere. The mentative power. There's only one power. It's what that one power is related to in imagination that results in what that power appears as. Be it wonderful, loving, harmonious relationships, personal magnetism, based conversations, relationships, wonderful experiences, or otherwise. There's only one cause. That is what is being pointed to. There's only that. He says the mentative force emanating from each individual that appears, individual is an appearance of that, creates an appearance of a mental atmosphere around them which appears to extend a considerable distance from their body, especially in the case of self-persuaded individuals whose mental atmosphere is felt when they enter a room or public place. So what are they self-persuaded about? It's key to be aware of what we are self-persuaded about. What we are self-persuaded about in relation with others appears. And now is where all the power is. What do we imagine of that one cause? It appears that way. That is how that appears. Personally, I would say a number of years ago, I stopped concerning about what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do. I trust that the one source that generates all appearances and experiences shall generate the ideal appearances and experiences by simply accepting that I am love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And sure enough, that appears as what I say, what I don't say, what I do, what I don't do. The individual is a conduit of divine expression. The individual body is an instrument of that I am. It says so in the Bible. The breath of life. The individual that appears has an individual mind, which in essence is blank. The individual appears to plant thought seeds in mind, these become beliefs. The question is, are these beliefs true and authentic to the true way of being, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, that results in personal magnetism? A simple way of doing this is, as you go about your day-to-day life, if you feel you need something from this world, be it approval, validation, or confirmation, identification is revealed. That's a form of belief identification. They believe that the outside, whatever they put as a condition, is the source of love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. The outer appearances of life are not the source. The individual imagines the outer appearances of life perhaps to be the source. The source is within, resulting in and as the outer appearances of life. The outer expressions of life is where we experience love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment with those we love, the wonderful hobbies that we have, our business, our career, whatever. We experience it with. One person may experience a relationship as love, fulfillment, peace, bliss, happiness. Another person may not. Universally, as I've seen this with myself and working with others, as they acknowledge that they are, I am, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, it plays out as wonderful relationships. Others appear to reflect what we've accepted as true within. If you believe that love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment is the true way of being, I am so self-persuaded, then how could it appear any other way? Upon meditation, we realize that I am is one with all. Thus, how could it not be love? Upon meditation, we realize that I am has everything, and thus it is fulfilled. Upon meditation, we realize that I am is beyond beliefs of lack of bliss, of fulfillment, of happiness. Thus, being beyond these beliefs, we are that. If one contemplates this within, that realization, then, of course, they feel it. We feel it in our meditations. We feel it while we're in nature. I feel it with whatever it is that I'm doing. While I'm working out in the gym, while I'm doing my business tasks, every single task. While I'm going for a walk, while I'm on vacation, while I'm with my friends, while I'm with my clients, while I'm with my family. Wasn't the case before, because I did not accept that I am. That's why it says in the Bible, seek first the kingdom within, and all these things shall be added unto you. Having seeked and found the kingdom within, you realize you are already that. Love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And all those things are then automatically added onto you, in which when we zoom out and we see an individual like that, we say, that person has a lot of personal magnetism. That person is magnetic. Upon deeper observation, we see little or none seeking-based behaviors of seeking external love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, because they know they are that. And it results as what he talks about here, mental atmospheres, telepathy, thought transmission, the feeling, fascination, aura. These are effects of what is related to the one cause within, I am. The antithesis of personal magnetism is seeking anything externally. To the degree that one realizes that they are love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. I am love. I am peace. I am bliss. I am fulfillment. I am happiness. As mentioned, turn them into autosuggestions. Record them, play them on loop, fall asleep to them until you are self-persuaded of already being. So we can look at this as autosuggestions being applied to release identification by acknowledging that which is true. And I can assure you, you'll start to see that more so each day in increasing frequency on a continuous basis. Because to the degree that we remain self-persuaded of being that love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, people seem to appear less and less otherwise. And if they do appear, it appears through conversation that they bring themselves to that realization. And it's all happening at the same time. There's only one cause, I am. That one cause appears and appears as all animated to reflect what was imagined. And so what ends up happening then is the person then realizes that they are that love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. And so then it appears that they dissolve the identification to those beliefs that are not authentic and true to the true way of being. Love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. You can say, I acknowledge being, love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment now, abiding as I am. Others appear to reflect the one cause within I am, appearing as love, happiness, peace, bliss, fulfillment, which appears as ideal, harmonious conversations, wonderful life experiences as far as the senses perceive. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.